vibes. It's the college football preview show with the Roll Up Network. I am your host, Silk, and I'm kicking it with two legends, co-hosts Kenny Shaw, Ahmmon Richards. Brethren, what's up? Y'all good?
Going on, and we back from the dead, but we're here. That's all that matters.
I was about to say, look, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good actually.
Back to back. That's all I gotta start with. Back to back.
Oh, you feeling
UNC.
Drake-ish?
UNC hot right now. Look, it's back to back.
Fire hot. I'll tell you that. No
We're gonna
lies
start this
told.
off already. This is crazy.
Next show come with that back to back.
We got to put that as the waiting room music next show if them boys lose. I ain't gonna lie, but I got my own troubles.
AR,
I can't talk too much this week.
AR, I bet you do wish you can go hype them boys up right now. Say something to them.
Yeah, I wish I could go grab one on by the face.
What would you say though? No, on the real though.
Don't ever embarrass me like that on this show, man. Got me on here.
No, you want to say that in front of the locker room. I'm saying, hey, AR, come speak to these boys.
I'm like, look,
give them a pep talk.
I'm like, look, we all take losses. You know what I'm trying to say? But it's
you got to channel another wide receiver from Miami. You got to get your inner Michael Irvin on, man. You ain't selling me right now, bro. You got to get in your bag.
Yeah, I ain't never been a seller type of guy. You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
I'm more so just like action, like all right, just put me in the game for like a drive. I got like a good drive for you. You feel me? I can do a little something, but now they'll be all right though.
I know what I'm telling them, boy.
Oh boy,
what you telling them?
I'm just swinging. No, I ain't swinging. I don't know. That's a tough loss because you don't know what area to really pinpoint it at. Was it coaching? Was it?
I know where the pinpoint is. It's a little bit of both, man. They couldn't move
the
ball.
It's not just one thing. It's like that was poorly managed end of the game, coaching
100%.
wise.
That was a masterpiece of a shit show. That like if you want to see just a master at work, that was Mario Cristobal down the stretch, bro.
But also too, like AR pointed out, 2 plays, 75 yards.
Bro, that's
man. Y'all don't get y'all look soft ass and muscle up, man. You know what I mean? Like. What's up?
I'm with you, man. Hey, y'all pound that like button. Everybody pulling in. We got quite the show lined up. We got Evan Rogers already in the chamber, so we're going to do our Carolina, Miami talk first, but y'all pound that like button. Also, if you missed Same Energy Sunday this past week, you missed a magnificent show. Go back and check that out. I think it's one of the best roll-up shows of all time. It's for Same Energy Sunday. We had a good time, man. Just good laughs. You feel me? And we ain't done here. But also tomorrow night, I ain't actually pre-show. Kenny, you pulling up tomorrow night?
Man, I can't make it, man.
You can't make it? Okay.
Look, I'm chilling. I got a golf tournament Monday.
Right.
I go to Tallahassee
on the weekend for the game.
On the weekend, and I got a tournament Friday.
Yeah, I feel you. But we're gonna be down. No pressure. We put this together kind of last minute. But my man Chad Thomas, defensive end legend out of Miami, having a listening party tomorrow night. So we're gonna pull up with the cameras and
hey, are you pulling up?
And hang out.
I'll pull up, man.
You dropping a bar or two?
Shit, I wish. I
got the pad and pencil ready. So I was ready.
For me to rap, man, I need a back end of about 20,000.
You gotta at least give us a bar before you ask for an advance, bro.
Hey, what?
Like, what kind of record deal is this?
What?
My only bar would be make sure we need. Make sure we need. Make sure we need. Yeah, that's my bar.
Nah, bro, that ain't happening. That ain't it. And the Red Charlemagne the God, that ain't it.
Hey,
that ain't it, bro. Hey, one time for our sponsor, State Farm, AlanHorneInsurance.com. If you need insurance in the states of Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama, be sure to visit AlanHorneInsurance.com or give them a call at 706-692-2888. Again, if you need health insurance, life insurance, car insurance in the states of Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama, be sure to give my man Alan a call. Ah, man. So y'all definitely check out Chad Thomas' music. And everything we got going on with that. We're going to drop a vlog with that episode and get a few things going. We're trying to mix it up a little bit.
Now that's going to be tough.
Of course you're going to be playing that, Kenny. I'm about to bring our guests on Evan Rogers. I'm just killing some time
on Monday playing at Bella Colina, and Friday I'm playing at the Orange County National.
You played there before? Oh.
Bella Collina, no. That's you don't that course is hard to get on. So I saw the email. I said, oh, I'm pulling up.
Oh.
And I'm
So you
getting
got
my
a
little
special invite.
look, I'm getting my Florida State bag engraved as we speak, the AR.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come down one day in Miami and
Solid. That ain't welcome here.
beat you in golf too, since my team gonna beat you.
Listen, we got to get to the Coral Gables. They got like a golf course. We need to get up out there so we can.
Man, set it up.
I don't know them. Listen, I'm not the golf plug here. All right.
Man, look. You don't know. You the plug just by networking. Look, all I'm saying is, look,
That's facts.
Florida State Miami golf tournament.
Don't leave me out the shit. What's going on here, bro?
Oh, Silk, Silk, I meant to mention to you sometime in April. I'm working with the Orlando club. We're gonna do a golf tournament. So we thinking of pitching Florida versus Florida State.
I'm with it. I'm with all that type of stuff. We've already been talking about some golf tournament stuff, so let me know the play. I'm down to.
But we just gotta map it out. So I mapped it out on 27th. I'll get back with you.
All right, let's not be rude. We got our man Evan Rogers, North Carolina beat writer, podcaster at Inside Carolina. Evan, how's it going, my dude?
It's going good, guys. I appreciate you all for having me.
Yes,
Man, the pleasure's all ours. We need somebody to break down the game with Ahmmon Richards here, and you guys have been hot lately, bruh. How you feeling?
Yeah, I think everyone kind of knew coming into the year what Drake May and this offense could be capable of. Getting Tez Walker back after the whole NCAA ineligibility kind of sorted out this past weekend against Syracuse, I think was definitely a big boost for the offense. And I think the story of the season up to this point has been UNC's defense last year. Across pretty much every statistical category you could name, UNC's defense was at the bottom or near the bottom, not only in the ACC, but in the NCAA as a whole.
All right, so, Evan, one cocky comment right now off the bat. I just need one cocky comment. Come on, man. Hey, I need you to keep it.
I can't. That's not how I'm wired.
Come on.
You got Matt Brown. Matt Brown a gangster, bro. You know Matt Brown gonna come in and
one
do his
cocky
thing,
comment.
I mean, I guess the cockiest thing I can say, and it's more just a stat, if anything, coming into this game, is Mac Brown, since he's come back, is 4-0 against Miami. That's
Big Mac.
Say no more,
man. It ain't just Mac Brown. It's Big Mac.
Hey, say no more.
Listen, man.
What is it, number one on the McDonald's menu?
A stain is coming on that record. A stain is coming, man. We like to stain that record real quick.
All right, let's talk some football.
Yep.
What you got, AR?
Yeah, no, just so just got a couple questions for you here, man. So just opinion on Drake May as far as how he's performing this year. And then just I want to touch on just really the defense as a whole. And do you believe that will be the difference in this game if UNC defense can step? Because I believe their offense is going to make plays, throughout the game. I don't think we can really slow that down. But can your defense hold up and contain, our high-powered offense as we're averaging 39 points a game at this moment?
It's a good question. I think Drake, a lot of people were really worried early on about. He had a couple of interceptions. I know he had 2 against Minnesota, 2 against South Carolina. His touchdown INT ratio wasn't the prettiest thing early on in the year. But aside from that, his numbers early on were still really high in terms of passing percentage, was always above 70%. He's now up to throwing over 300 yards a game. And in the last couple of games has kind of cleaned up some of those missed throws that he probably wanted to have back in terms of those interceptions. So I think Drake is always kind of just going to be Drake. I think he's doing a better of changing pre-snap situations. Mac Brown's talked a lot about him and how Drake has the selfless ability to change.
Oh.
Come on, Evan.
No.
You just get into the Drizzy talk. I want to hear that Drake talk, man.
Hey, look.
He's getting ready to lie for USC, man.
They are hot right now, though.
Drake finna do it for all the dogs on Saturday for sure. Do it for all the dogs, Kenny.
Can y'all hear me? My fault. But yeah,
All
no,
good,
Drake's always going to be Drake. And now he's got his full weapons back when you factor in Nate McCollum and Tez Walker and those transfers. As far as defense, yeah, I mean that's kind of the biggest difference in this year's team. I think they're top 30 or top 35 in both total yards and points allowed per game. A lot of that has to do with the defensive line finally kind of playing to the potential. It's a lot of the same guys as last year, but you've got 5 stars and Des Evans playing up to his potential in the end. You've got Kamon Rucker, who's been seems like in the backfield almost every play this year. You've got 4 stars and Miles Murphy who are playing up to their full potential. And then at linebacker, it's still the same 2, workhorse backers there with Cedric Gray and Power Eccles. Those guys are going to play probably close to 97, 98% of the snaps. And I think the biggest area on this defense that saw the most change this offseason was in the secondary. They lost a lot of guys to the portal, and they got a lot of guys, or got one key guy in particular from the portal, and Elijah Huzzy, who kind of shifted into that star position or the nickelback that UNC plays in their scheme. And he's been a real good player and a really good pickup in the portal. He leads the team with 3 interceptions. And in terms of Huzzy, it'll be really interesting to see because obviously he'll be matched up with Restrepo, who is obviously not only Miami's best receiver, but also one of the better receivers in the conference.
Right. Yeah, speaking of receivers, right? I know you guys got back, one of your major targets on the offensive side of the ball, Devontae Walker. What impact do you think he'll be able to have on this game? And I may ask you a follow-up question as I know they put him in a game last week, in there to kind of get his feet wet, I believe. But do you think that could alter the offense as far as like chemistry, or do you think he just has a natural talent to just kind of fit in and as a puzzle piece, and offense can just continue rolling?
No, yeah. I mean, Tez Walker, like you mentioned, they kind of put him in there. I think he played a little bit over 50 snaps, had 6 catches last week. But he definitely wasn't fully incorporated in the offense. I mean, they found out he was eligible Thursday, so they had about 48 hours to kind of put him into the game plan. In terms of what he brings, he's the true deep threat that this offense really hasn't had. I mean, he's 6'2", 6'3", and he's probably by far the fastest guy on the team. And
he's about to lie again.
We got the Obama internet, man. Like, what's going on, bro? Yeah.
He said he was the fastest on the team. They said no way.
Hey, man, shout out to everybody hanging out with us. Y'all pound that like button, comment, ask us questions that you may want us to ask my man Evan Rogers over here while we talking this North Carolina-Miami game. I think it could come down to I'll say what it'll come down to later. Welcome back, Evan. I was about to fill in some time with some bars, bro.
But yeah, no, Drake or Tez Walker is big because he can really take tops off defenses, and that opens up a lot of stuff underneath. When you've got a guy like Nate McCollum, who's a kind of a bulkier, shifty slot guy, UNC likes to use their tight ends a lot. All 3 of the tight ends have over 100 yards receiving this year. You've got Bryson Nesbitt, who's kind of that modern NFL type tight end, who's 6'5", 6'6", can almost play in the slot at times. And then you've got Kamari Morales and John Copenhaver, who are kind of more your traditional tight ends. As far as the chemistry goes, I think kind of talking to some of the guys this week in the offense and coaches as well, it's not really an issue with Tez just because leading up to the year, Tez was on the first team up until about a week before the season opener against South Carolina. And even after the fact that he was deemed, ineligible his waiver wasn't approved by the NCAA initially, Tez actually shifted down and played on scout team still. So he's still practicing, still with the team as a guy who obviously everyone knew was uber talented. I mean, coming into the year on a couple of draft boards, I know Tez was around a top 50 NFL draft pick. So it's a case of, I think a lot of the wide receivers in that room, maybe a couple guys who Tez could be potentially taking their snaps, I think recognize the talent that Tez Walker is and understand that having him on the field now that he's eligible certainly puts UNC in the best position moving forward.
Okay.
I think it do come down to how much snaps he's able to kind of take, because he's not going to be able to do 50 plays, and that's coming from a receiver. You're not 50 plays fresh back, boy. Hey, that boy going to be having to have electrolytes, the chiropractor near.
Yep.
Hey, so it's going to be important to know which plays to use them really on.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you think about? I mean, we got 2 of the highly touted quarterbacks over the last couple of years. I know Van Dyke had a down year, but there's been first round talk about him in the past. Also with Drake May, who may be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think it could come down to just pure quarterback play. Drake May's at home. They're really hot right now. Van Dyke had a bad game last game, but there's no way Miami could win this game without elite Van Dyke play in my mind. He got to come out and be hitting on all cylinders. What do you guys think about that?
That's a good take.
No, I mean 100% agree. I mean both guys are super super talented. Obviously TBD I think has really benefited from the air raid system kind of getting put in at Miami. I think it plays a little bit more to his strengths as compared to what was in last season. And like you mentioned, I think the biggest thing for Tyler Van Dyke coming into this game is kind of cleaning up because I think he had was it 3 turnovers last game, but he only or
Right.
3 picks last game, but leading up to that game he only had 1. So I think for him in terms of trying to get this game right back, it's definitely going to come down to being secure with the ball and not making those silly mistakes. And as far as Drake, I think it's kind of the same old with him. You kind of know what you're going to get with him game in and game out. I think 2 of the last 3 games he's thrown for over 400 yards. So he's kind of peaking at the right time, and I think getting some of those core guys back in the offense is only going to help him moving forward.
What fear you? What anything on Miami offense or team that fears you on either side of the ball? What frightens you at night?
I mean,
Yeah,
you've got to start with Miami's defensive line in front seven. Really, I mean that's statistically the best run defense in the country. And I know some people are going to say, well, they haven't played the greatest schedule outside of Texas A&M, but
it is true.
I think at the end of the day, you look up front, they have blue chip talent. They've always recruited well at that position. And for a team in UNC that I would say the offensive line is probably the weakest position just across the board, I think that's definitely something that UNC is going to have to take for a factor because not that Drake May isn't capable of putting a game on his back and winning a game, but also it's never a bad thing to have a run game that complements a quarterback. And then this year, when UNC's got a running back in Amarian Hampton, who's really taken that sophomore jump this year to where he's averaging 5 yards a carry, he's got 7 rushing touchdowns this year. It's definitely an important part of the offense. So I think it all starts with that Miami front seven, and obviously the safeties are talented. I know people are going to point out that late game blunder to Georgia Tech and the busted coverage, but those guys are still talented. So those are definitely across the defense as a whole. There are some talented guys that could definitely cause some trouble for UNC on Saturday.
Yeah, and I was gonna say like that's one of my bright spots coming into this game is I know our D line is gonna cause pressure. We're gonna, we're gonna stop the run. We're only giving up 2.3 yards a carry. Or the last 5 games, we only allowed 291 rushing yards. That's pretty solid.
That's stout.
That's pretty solid. So I believe it's going to come down, to like Silk pointed out, both quarterbacks, can they make plays and can they make those key plays down the stretch? Because I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be, both teams going to score over 30 points, and it's going to really come down to, which team could just make the lesser mistakes. So I do believe, our D line could cause some havoc, get you off the field on third downs here and there. But ultimately, as long as Tyler Van Dyke comes ready to play, I like our chances every time. Same way, vice versa. If Drake May, like you say, he shows up every game. You guys are always in the game as long as he's playing and he's mentally there.
No doubt, for sure. I was going to ask, because you were a former player, right, Hara?
Yeah.
From a player's perspective, with how the game ended last week, is that something that you can see as almost a rallying cry for a team, or is that something
They cried.
or is that something that on the flip side you could see some kids taking that as, I don't have faith in our coaching staff moving forward? What is kind of your thought process with how that game transpired, and how would you personally take that, and how could you see some of the guys in the locker room right now kind of taking that situation moving forward?
That's a great question. I would say from just experience, I remember my freshman year we lost to Florida State. We're undefeated, lost to Florida State at home by a blocked field goal, and it killed the whole team's morale. Like everyone was just like down, and then we went on like a downward skid. We lost like the next 3 games in a row. and it was terrible. But me personally, I never let it affect my mental. I actually locked in. It made me more focused, on the little things. So it really just depends. You're gonna have guys on the team, right, that's still gonna be dwelling on it. Then you're gonna have guys on the team that, like our leaders, like the Cams, James Williams, those guys, right, they're gonna move forward, continue playing. So I think as long as your key contributors, like the Tyler Van Dykes, right, he's not dwelling on last week's performance, guys like that, you'll move on and you'll you'll use it as a learning lesson, right? So that's why I'm confident. And to see Mario come out and take full accountability, for the mistake, I think that says a lot, and it gives players a little bit more respect. We all make mistakes, right? The main guy, right? Even though he's coaching you every single day about doing the right things, being in the right spot, right? He himself has made his mistake, right? And to see him take that accountability on like a national, level, you kind of like you tilt your hat like, okay, like coach, he got our back. He's a man of his word. He stood up to it. So let's put it behind us. Let's
He
strap it.
he
And let's
got to say that for that $8 million though.
listen.
What you
I
say? What you
believe
say,
him
Kenny?
though. Listen,
I ain't hear you. What you
listen.
say?
He got to say that for that $8 million.
I believe him though. I can look at him. I can tell he didn't sleep for the whole weekend because he knew deep down like that decision was crazy, and it shouldn't have never happened. The defense should have never been out there a second time, and the offense should have just never been in that position to even fumble the ball. Right. So,
Y'all shouldn't have even been in position with Georgia Tech on y'all ass like that.
Yeah.
bro, I could listen.
That's
Evan,
fact.
it's a
Tony.
bunch of catfish to me. Look, that's
Listen,
watch the show Catfish.
Vinny, Boston College came out with these right here. All left lumped up. The boys was swinging crazy. If it wasn't for that,
Boston College ranked ahead of y'all in the ACC right now. You might want to just watch the bass in your voice when you speak on Boston College.
Evan, I tried to tell him. So one of our shows, we were talking about Boston College, and I said it's very tough to play there.
Just because it's so quiet?
No, not even, bro. Like,
no, I'm being serious. I know it can be tough sometimes as a player to go
No.
to an arena that's
Yeah.
empty.
that shit is tough.
That's
for
hilarious.
Two
Evan.
reasons.
I
You feel like you're
appreciate
going to Harry Potter land, and goddamn, them red bandanas, they coming.
That's true. Red bandana
No
game
pun
is
intended.
different. Yeah.
Hey, but on the real though, and I said the year we won the championship, we struggled in Boston College.
Yeah.
Barely escaped.
I've never seen a game more like broken down as far as the end of the game, like conspiracy theories, ref criticism, coach criticism, just like was he down? A lot of shit, man. What do you guys
30
think
for
about
30.
the?
They gonna get a 30 for 30 on that.
We gotta get a Netflix special about this shit for sure, man. Like there's a lot of conspiracies around it. But what do you guys think about the ACC and how they handle all of that? You even with the slide, right? There's people breaking that down. Did he break the
Man,
plane?
hey.
Should he been down at the one? Bottom line, like they goofed off. But what's y'all opinion about how it all played out?
That's ACC refs for us. Listen, we never, every time we play a football game, if it comes down to officiating, we are always getting the bad end of the stick. But we know this as players and as fans. Like this,
Every team can say that on here. Every team has said that on
I'm
here.
definitely
Hey,
gonna say that.
check
hey,
the resume, check the stats. Every time it come down to a ref's decision, we always get the bad end.
AR, we had a dude on our staff. I'd never forget this dude. He was like statistical genius. He will get the amount of certain calls each game from the ACC ref because Jimbo thought that we was getting out refed against. You know what I mean? So every team went to that shit. Like
Yeah. Sometimes it be like that though. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes
it is.
It feels.
But
I
that
don't know if
game
they had
came
it out for y'all. But once I knew it got to that standpoint, you don't want to be. That's the underdog's territory. That's where you want to be as an underdog in a muddy game that the refs get, and then you got an ignorant coach that's still trying to play ball, get stats. That's a underdog's dream, dog, and they just capture that. Let's finish up this Carolina game, though, man. Where we at with it? I can't get this screen to stay consistent for me today.
Evan, what's your real score gonna be?
Give me your score,
man.
Evan. Where you at with it?
I think like AR mentioned, I think it's definitely gonna be a high scoring game just with how both offenses play. I think I told someone earlier today, 38-35 UNC was what I was locking in. So I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think UNC covers. Like you guys mentioned, I think this game is potentially going to come down to quarterback play. And usually the team that has the edge in quarterback, and I think UNC's got a slight edge there, will come out on top. But I think it'll be a close game, primetime game. I saw a question in the chat, someone asking about the weather. It's supposed to be raining during the day. I don't think it's supposed to carry out into
What's
the
the
night.
temperature
So
like?
60s, mid 60s probably. So perfect kind of nighttime football weather.
That's too
Yeah.
cold for them hurricanes.
Yeah, it's too. They ain't ready for that type of breeze.
Nah, man, that's
The boys
perfect
gonna be
weather. Right?
shivering out there.
That's perfect weather.
Rainy,
I saw
cool. You
Miami's
want to get back
whipping
to the
out the
bed with
all
your old lady.
whites. The
Yeah,
all whites are
all
coming out
white.
for Miami.
What jersey say Winger?
All white.
I saw
All
the all
white.
whites coming out for Miami. UNC's bringing out the throwback jerseys. So I think it'll be a nice jersey matchup there.
Hey,
under the
Evan,
lights.
if they'd have brought out them glow in the darks, that's a total W. That's a total W. Look, hey,
The glow in the darks, man. That was crazy. Getting your ass whooped in glow in the darks is just insane to me still. What's the vibes like around campus? Are they treating this like this is a big time game? Because this could have been a potential first time this matchup was like a top 15 game. Am I correct? Something like that.
You're not wrong. It's still one of the few ranked matchups being played in Kenan Stadium. So the buzz is definitely still there.
Right.
I think just the football team success as a whole has really gotten this community up big. When UNC started off 4-0, and obviously now they're 5-0, that was the first time since 1997, which was the year that UNC lost to Florida State in Judgment Day. So a lot of those parallels have been started to be drawn to that 97 team and this year's team, though a little bit premature in my opinion, but it's definitely a game, or it's definitely a team that I think this community kind of recognizes is kind of a once in, not even a decade, but almost a once in a lifetime kind of a team for some people.
them boys finna be soccer balling out there.
It's about to be ruckus and rowdy out there.
Evan, 42
42.
42 to 30.
Oh, man.
42 to 30.
UNC wins.
UNC wins?
Yes.
Listen,
My
he
man
was-
Steven Mitchell in the comments want to know, like, AR, how you feel about the run game versus North Carolina?
It's ironic, right? Because we just lost running the ball, and I do believe we're going to control the ball. And I think we're going to control the game. I don't think UNC has the guys up front on the defensive side of the ball that can really slow down our run game, right? So I do think we're going to be forced to throw the ball at times, but I think overall, when it comes to the run game, I think that's where we're going to have our advantage on them, and then I think D-line as well. I think their offensive line is a little smelly, and I think we're gonna get after. We're gonna make Drake May, man. He gonna have to earn that first round money this game, man. You know that's what it comes down to, and I think he's a quarterback that can withstand it. But it's just how, like I said, it's gonna come down to turnovers. As long as we're running the ball and not fumbling, as long as we're not throwing interceptions and stuff, I do think it's gonna go.
What about the coaching? You talking a lot of player execution.
Yeah,
Like, what are you thinking coaching wise? You guys can kneel and shit like that this week?
It's so crazy. It's going to be ironic because I think it's going to be a close game, but I think we're going to have the ball last, and I think we're actually going to take a knee to win the game.
It'd be groundbreaking for Miami this year.
That's what I'm thinking. We're going to take a knee, bro. With like
We're going to take a knee to go into halftime because
they're going to do Kenny. What do you think they're going to do to us that we can't do to them? I got to ask you.
I think your safety and DB group it was a facade this whole damn weeks, and they are hot right now. And with them being hot, and I only know what they be drinking up there and hanging out and shit, but they coming ready, man. I'm telling you, AR, these boys been waiting on this type of matchup for a minute. Am I right, Evan?
You stay right there.
No, this Matt Brown Lane. I think I want to see as well. Is Miami secondary? Can they hold off a guy like Drake May? We've seen what he's done to Miami in the past. Like, he gets hot. He's very streaky. If they jump out after a game last week where you lose like that, if they jump out ahead and that place is rocking, like, does Miami fold? You know what I'm saying? I want to see the early part of that game, how Miami responds. Because I think they're going to come out fire hot. And if Miami can, answer some drives out the Carolina drive, then we'll see what's up. But I'm just thinking this could be, what's the spread? Give me that. What's the
I think
spread?
it's minus 3.5 right now.
Minus 3.5? That's actually, they played close last year. And actually, Tyler Van Dyke went for over like 400 yards on them last year as well.
Yep.
So he plays Carolina well, but
3 of the last 4 games have been decided by a field goal. The only outlier was that 62-26 drubbing in Coral Gables.
That game doesn't count. That doesn't count.
What was the score, man? Wait, I saw how I zoned out. What was the score?
62 to 26, and I think that was 2021, 2020, one of those years.
It was
That's
like,
when Mac Brown grab Manny by the shoulder and was like, "Come here, son.
At home,
Let me talk to you."
In Miami, yes.
Yeah, in
bro. I
Miami.
don't think that shit ever been done, bro. At dope, bro.
dog, I'm not gonna lie, Kenny. That was one of the only games.
Bro, what?
First quarter, I turned it off because I already knew
We
it.
talking about March Madness, right?
No. It's football scope.
Hey, Evan, I think you guys had two running backs with like 200 yards apiece. Like,
Yeah, that was the Michael Carter Javonte Williams
Yes.
tandem. I think they each might have rushed. I can actually look it up real quick. I think they might have each rushed for over 300 yards apiece or close to that number.
It was bad. Hey, Kenny, guess what jersey we were wearing that game?
Don't tell me. Was it the glow in the dark?
No, they didn't have glow in the dark back
Black.
then. This new
It was
technology.
black though.
Bro, them black jerseys are
I told you, hey, folks are looking at Jimbo crazy because he told them hard no with our black jerseys because he's a statistic guy.
Yeah.
Jimbo said we ain't never won with them shits on.
Yeah, Michael Carter rushed for
What's that?
Carter rushed for 308 yards. Javonte rushed for 236 yards. Total of 550 yards rushing.
And you gonna tell me it's a shame
778
that
yards.
Kentucky running back went for 200 on me? You see what I'm saying, Kenny?
Hey,
I told you it had to be done on y'all. If it was done on us,
300?
it had to be
come clean.
300, man.
I'm come clean, bro. Our team blew up after that.
Yeah, they grew up all
They
right.
blew up. I don't think we would. I can't remember how many games we won after that, but
AR over under UNC throw for 300.
They're going for over 300.
over for sure. It's going. I think both quarterbacks going to throw for about over 350 yards each.
Yeah,
I would say that. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think whichever team turns the ball over less will probably win this game. I think that's a big thing people have kind of not looked at regarding the Miami Georgia Tech game just because how it ended. But Miami had 5 turnovers. Yes. I mean, if you only have 3 turnovers, which is still way too many for a game, you probably win that game. Right. So I think the turnover battle would probably be the deciding factor in this one.
And 3 of them was interceptions, which makes it crazy. So as long as Tyler, he locks in, maybe those 3 turnovers, maybe are 2 to 3 touchdowns, and we not even having that long Sunday energy.
I think turnovers is what won y'all the A&M game as well. Like that was the big swing in momentum when you guys had the interception, pick 6, I believe it was, or it led to some points, and then you guys doubled right back with a special teams kickoff return. That was a big momentum swing in that Texas A&M game that took y'all up 2 scores, and they just never recovered. So it could be some X factor stuff like special teams, and turnovers is definitely gonna be key to y'all. But I want to see how explosive y'all run game gets. I've been monitoring it. As far as Miami, I don't know how explosive it is, man. Can you just rely on Tyler Van Dyke's arm? I think you're gonna have to get some explosiveness out of the run game as well for y'all to turn that corner. I'm gonna respect the 3 points. I'm gonna give it 38-41 Carolina.
God, I gotta do this every week with these.
Yeah, like I'm out of pocket. Like you see what we saw last week. Like
I'm about to say,
that was an outlier. That don't really happen too often. That was
right. It doesn't happen. That's like hole in one shit show type situation.
Generational loss. I told you that
for sure. You're right.
But I think we win 42-31. I personally think our defense is just better than your defense, right? And I think we're gonna ruffle some feathers back there in the passing game. And I think it'll be just enough to slow Drake May down a little bit. I don't think we're gonna completely shut him out the game, but to get him off the field on 3rd down is gonna be very important. I think the last year, I think you guys converted on 3rd and 14 or 4th and 14 or whatever. So there's plenty. You guys are Coach Mac Brown is undefeated against us, but I mean, he's literally bailed out on some defensive calls 3 times. So I think we get it done this year. I think we get it done. Plus our running game, we're averaging about 200 yards a game rushing. So hey, I don't see any studs up front. That's what
I have a funny proposition. So if Miami is up late, they've got the ball. Say they're up, I don't know, 3 or 4 points, and say Miami ends up winning the game. but instead of kneeling, you guys run the ball out again like you did against Georgia Tech. What would the vibes be amongst the program? You think you guys won the game, but for the second week in a row, or I guess not the second week, really for
That'd be an effort to the fans.
the sixth week in a row, you guys ran the ball out to close the game. What would your personal vibe, I guess, be?
I would
that?
come on here. I would come on here in a suit and tie. I would come on here with a huge smile because it's kind of like he says "f you" to everyone. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to show that that fumble was fluke, right? And everyone is trolling and laughing, but watch this. We're going to get this upset on the road, and I'm going to run the ball last play of the game. I wouldn't be mad at that. Let him hang, Mario. Let him hang.
Last thing, what if they lose? What if you guys lose?
Then I might
retire. No, I'm saying like real quick, like if you guys lose, like what do you think Mario's PR, his approval rating, like they do in politics? What do you think his approval rating would be with the fan base if he lost his game? Just curious.
It'll be very It wouldn't be a good look. It wouldn't be a good look, right? It just give you flashbacks to last year. We went 5-7. So our fan base, man, they switch sides pretty quick, right? So
all of them do.
You think losing like this back-to-back game?
They all do, man.
I think they
fans
ain't gonna be mad. They ain't gonna be mad
quick.
at all, man.
Nah, they lose this shit. They gonna be.
They lose. They ain't gonna be mad at all.
I think me and him are in similar places this week, bro. We got to. Hey, Evan, I don't want to hold you too long. Tell the people where they can find you at, my guy.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Evan Rogers. Instead of an O, it's a 0 there. You can find all my work at InsideCarolina.com. We do a bunch of articles and podcasts weekly. It's definitely the most complex and up-to-date coverage of UNC sports. So anyone out there listening that is interested and wants to stay up to date with that side of the news, feel free to check us out, InsideCarolina.com. And appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully AR can get some sleep and well rested for the night game. Are you coming up? I guess I should have asked that first.
No, I'm definitely.
He know better. He know better.
Traveling. You can't be traveling with that type of circus.
I'm not traveling to UNC because listen, man, I don't know what's going to take place up there, and I don't want to have a long time.
That's long. You can't enjoy yourself under those type of
circumstances. I think you'll get the win, but I'd rather watch it from the couch, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a fair move.
Are you going?
Yeah, I'll be covering that game. Should be a good atmosphere. Night games are always fun. Probably be a late night, obviously, with the work that has to be done after the game. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're covering sports, you're watching football. You can't ask for much better than that, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Hey, Evan, good luck this weekend, man. I need you guys to pull it out for me, man. Back to back.
Appreciate it. You guys take care.
Word to Drake, man. Have a good one. Hey, pound that like button. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. It's the Roll Up Network. We're doing our college football preview show. We're going to move right along, get into some Syracuse talk with Florida State.
Like Syracuse, man.
You like Syracuse? What you like? We like about Syracuse? Dino's.
He don't know.
Fade, his hairline.
He already told you what he want. He eyeing our game the most.
I see.
I think they get the dub on the what is it, home game, or you guys going to that dome?
It's in dope.
Oh, okay.
It's in dope, unfortunately.
Teams like playing in dope, man. I like playing in dope.
Fun place to play. We're kicking it with. We're gonna do our Syracuse talk. Let me introduce. Let's not be rude, fellas.
I'm gonna be a gentleman.
Yeah, our Syracuse, Florida State talk. We're gonna be kicking with Ashley Wenskoski from CNY Central, a sports anchor. Did I say your last name correctly?
You did. You're one of the very few people to ever get that correct. Good stuff.
That's the miracle on this show. Like I'm notoriously known for like pronouncing people's names wrong. So we're off to a good start.
Yes, we are. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I'm excited to talk some Syracuse, Florida State.
So how are you feeling about Dino Babers? They started off hot 4-0. Then they ran into a couple roadblocks. How you feel about the program this year and where Dino has it?
Well, this is his 8th year as head coach, which is something that I think would surprise a lot of people around the ACC, just how long he has been the coach of Syracuse. I think a lot of fans kind of taking the temperature of Syracuse fans are a little bit frustrated, especially this season with they start off 4-0 against some of those lesser opponents. And then when it comes to those tough games in the ACC, it seems like they can just never pull out the big wins. So, I'm not one to speak on Dino's job status, but I think it is something that will continue. His seat's only going to get hotter as the season goes along if they continue to drop these games.
What's the usual expectations for a Syracuse football program? I'm curious now.
It's funny you bring that up because that's something that's been discussed a lot around here too recently. As a Power 5 program, it kind of does seem like the expectations surrounding them every year are kind of like get to a bowl game, maybe win the bowl game, 6-7 wins. But I think a lot of fans around here want that to be changed and, are looking for those 9-10 win seasons. And that's something that Dino's really only accomplished here in 2018. They had a 10-win season. So I think you have to look beyond just, qualifying for a bowl game and really, really trying to be more competitive within the ACC.
Now, the spread for this game is at 17.5. Kenny, take the wheel. What you got?
I have a real deep question, Ashley.
Yeah.
So you said, I know you mentioned, they're looking for the 9-10 wins. Do they circle Florida State on the calendar in camp time and say, we're going to get this win?
I'm going to go with definitely not this year. I think this whole
honesty.
I know, I have to be honest. This whole stretch for Syracuse, so they played Clemson and then UNC last week, which I heard Evan talking a bit about, and then Florida State. And they were on the road for the entire month of October. So this is definitely their gauntlet of a stretch in terms of scheduling. But I think that, this game against Florida State is kind of circled as probably the toughest challenge of their season.
No, definitely. And do you think more so you guys' losses came from coaching or was it the injuries? Because y'all lost some big key components of your offense. So it's more so like, is it really is the coaching really that bad versus the injuries? Or
I think it's something that does frustrate Syracuse fans. Obviously, they lost Arande Gadsden out for the season right away early on, and that was a really tough loss for them because he's someone that they really relied on at receiver. Aside from that, they've really tried to move the ball with the run game, but it seems like, those ACC opponents have figured that out. They've read the book that Garrett Trader is going to try to use his legs, LaQuint Allen on the ground as well. So I think the injuries have definitely contributed, but it is something that came up in Dino Babers' press conference this week. Not sure if you guys saw, but he actually made a comment to some reporters about how, their depth's getting bought away in the transfer portal, let alone injured. So it's an interesting discussion for sure.
Hey, I'm just happy he telling the truth, unlike those Miami Hurricanes, man. It's always good to hear.
We're not lying.
You know what I mean? But I came on here I'm not gonna lie. I saw each week I see the reporters who I'm gonna be talking with, and I saw later. I said I gotta be a gentleman, so I'm gonna keep my shit.
Usually he's harsh to the writers that come on here, but he's been like real passive today, and I don't know what's going on right now.
I'm being more passive only because, like I said last week, I was only hoping for our run game to hit the ceiling. So it's like seeing that, I feel good. Not only with Jordan Travis in our air attack, but just to see a 200-yard rusher, that makes the game more complete. So I'm just trying to chip out each week away humbly, even though I talk shit. But it is a different feel. I'm more so humble because it is a different feeling when you are like top 5 in the nation and you playing just a team each week. Like they trying to come for you, So I can humbly say that I do believe our spread for the game, and I do believe that we gonna dap it up at the end of the game and hopefully convert some Syracuse fans over. Because Doak Campbell is a beautiful place.
Hey, what do you think that Syracuse has to do to keep Garrett Schrader upright? I think the key for them to win the game, I don't know if their run game would be able to get going. And I think you guys are having an issue with keeping him upright. I think he has like 14 sacks on the season. So the run game isn't strong. You can't keep Schrader up. Like, what do you hang your hat on with this offense?
Well, I think the offense really has to, like I mentioned before, teams have read the book that when Schrader can't connect with his receivers downfield, he just defaults to running the ball himself and handing it off to LaQuinn Allen. So I think that, I mean, as bad as it is to say, I think it's critical that Garrett Schrader doesn't get hurt in this game. The O-line play for Syracuse is something that's really been an issue. You mentioned he's been sacked a ton of times, and he is the conductor of their offense. So you think Syracuse has problems now. You don't want to see a Syracuse without Garrett Schrader under center. So I think the O-line has to protect him a lot better, and that was something that stuck out to me in the UNC game as well. You know, it seemed like Drake May just had forever back there to figure out what he's going to do with the ball, to make those decisions, and Garrett Schrader was just, I mean, he had 2 seconds to get rid of the ball. And he's a quarterback that has a ton of experience too. I mean, he played at Mississippi State before he even joined the Orange and took over that starting job. So he's got 5-6 years of experience in college football. So it's not necessarily his decision making. It's more so the time he has in the pocket and how under pressure he is from these opposing defenses.
Yeah, that might be a scary sight because our D line that is one of our strong suits. So I can only just pray for the young man on Saturday. Yeah.
Tell me about Marlo Wax at linebacker. I think he's one of the leaders on your defense. He's moved at the linebacker spot to a different position. I think he's over the middle now. Give me the feedback on him and how important he is to this defense.
Yeah, Marlo's a captain on defense. He's somebody that's super important to this team. You know, a guy we're probably going to see playing on Sundays next year, more than likely. The defense has really been a bright spot for Syracuse, if anything. You know, sometimes they have trouble on offense, as we discussed, but the defense under Rocky Long this year as defensive coordinator, you know, he's kind of the father of that 3-3-5 defensive scheme. So that's something that's much improved for them this year with Marlo, guys like Caleb Okechukwu, Justin Barron. So, and that's something that I don't even think has really been the issue in those 2 losses to Clemson and UNC. I think the defense has held up a little bit better. I think it's just their struggles on offense and their struggles to move the ball. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. But those aren't 2 bad losses either. You know, those are teams that can get the ball rolling if you allow them to. So again, I'm coming in this matchup humbly, but also I think once everybody get it settled in, I think that's when we do take off and separate ourselves. So
can you guys please get this upset? Please.
I know. I would.
Just make it weird.
Please.
I don't even need an upset. Just make it weird for me.
Yeah,
Actually, I just need to be like close at the half or do something janky at the end like Miami did last weekend. But just make it weird for me so I can come on here Sunday and talk crazy.
Hey,
That's
you
what I
never
need out
know.
of
You
Qs.
never know in college football, right? Weird stuff happens.
I hope it's gonna be that
we
defense.
saw it
for
last
sure.
week.
Yeah. I have a question for you, like as a former Florida State player, like what's the mindset going into a game like this where obviously Florida State's favored, you know, massively. I think it's 17.5 points the spread. What is the like mindset? How do like players on teams like that not get like lackadaisical in a matchup like this?
Well, our mindset start off in April, if I'm being honest. It start off in April, spring ball, and it's like either we're going to lock in or we just going to be mediocre. And, you know, coming into that year, we coming off an Orange Bowl win, so it was like starting fall camp, it was we kind of knew losing to NC State, an unranked team last year, was like, damn, like this shit can happen any week, you know? So our mindset was kind of traumatized from that. So coming into the year, it was like, I don't care. We playing some senior citizen women. We got to get this win. You know what I mean? So coming to the game, it was each practice. Our structure is the practice are harder than the games, and that's the type of coach Jimbo was. He was a tough coach, but it made sense when it came down to playing a team that's struggling. We just got to keep hitting them to those clock hit zero, and I think the world kind of seen that last week. You can't sleep until those clock hit zero, aka the Hurricanes.
Oh my God, this has been a long week for me.
You've been battling this all week, yeah, I'm sure.
Does that make sense?
What'd you think about the ending? I mean, I like asking people like where they was at. This is like 9/11 to me a little bit in like sports world. It's just a sports talk. So where were you at, and what did you think when you saw the ending of the Miami game last week?
I like totally, what was that? It was in the last 30 seconds of the game, right? Or the last minute.
Oh
I
yeah,
like didn't look back at that game for like maybe another hour or so, like put it to bed, that Miami won. And then I looked back and I was like, oh my God, like looked at my Twitter and stuff. And
it was crazy.
that was a crazy turn of events.
Yeah,
There
wow.
was so many people on here live that I thought about just retiring. I couldn't do it, man. The comments was just straight trolling the whole time.
Well, Ashley, like you came on being honest. He came online every week, and I just sat back and just heard the lies. And eventually, I told him it's gonna come before ours come, at least, and it did.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, your L is coming though, Kenny. I've been saying this at some
When
point.
is it? When do you realistically think our L is coming?
Duke
We play
next
you
week,
guys. Let me look. Let me
21st.
look this up. Let me see.
Gators, y'all bad as hell.
Miami versus
Y'all
Hey man,
Florida
very
one week
bad.
at a
State.
time. You focus on you right now, and Duke.
I
That's what
asked
I
a
got.
question.
What you say?
Miami versus Florida State,
I'm not
2023.
ready yet.
November 11th is when that L is coming. That's when it's coming, Kenny. That's when it's coming.
All right, give me y'all score for the Syracuse Florida State game. I need a catastrophe for this to happen for me for Cuse. Clearly, it's going to be tough for you guys if your trenches are lacking on both sides of the ball because Florida State's is solid in the trenches on both sides of the ball. So I'm gonna need a defensive miracle, turnovers, a sloppy showing, them guys to be smelling themselves a little bit, and just make it ugly. Maybe a lot of penalties, turnovers, that type of game. What do you guys think about this before we move to the score? I think Florida State offense could be more explosive if Jordan Travis' shoulder wasn't a little iffy. I think him not being able to lead the pocket as often as he want, as do a threat as he want, is limiting his game a little bit.
What's your question?
What do you guys think about that? Do you think he's
I
limiting
think
the
I
offense
think that
because
Yeah.
I think that nobody plays healthy a full year, and if you do, then you got to get NCAA on them for steroids or some shit. So I don't think nobody plays fully healthy. At the end
I
of the
agree
day,
with that?
it comes down to a mindset, and I think that this is 6 year. Last year, you got to damn near carry him off the field for him to stop. So I think initially the body once you get hurt and it's one of them injuries that it ain't going away after
But
a couple of cupping and nothing. I think you get in your head a little bit, but I see
but
that
do
he's
you play call like, hey slide
no
or hey don't do this or don't leave the pocket? You don't play call. We're trying to protect him a little
that
bit.
messes with his game. That's the type of
Mm.
player he is. I think he's a green light player. You got to let him just. He's a Allen Iverson. You just let him freestyle. You
He
don't.
hasn't been freestyling as much this year though.
Yeah, I mean the thing is he haven't been at this type of level either. You gotta look at that too. He ain't never been top five. So when it come down to the decision making and whether he can be the hero or not, I think that he is looking at that more so than taking the less hits. Because
Right.
quarterback, I used to talk shit about quarterbacks more so because I mean you go through levels of football, you expect for them to be like the damn movies on any given Sunday, on the movie theaters, but these are big boys they're going against, like 300 pounders trying to hit them. Like I don't take that into consideration as a receiver.
Right, right. Different spot. All right, give me your score. What we got?
Go, ladies first.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. I think, look, Syracuse, I mean, you said it before. I'm going to be honest with this one. Syracuse doesn't have a win against a top 5 team since all the way back in 2017. So I don't know if this is the year for them to do it, right? They're beat up. They haven't had their bye week yet. That's coming down
Oh,
the road next week. So they need a break. So I'm going 42-9 on this one. I think, there's a chance they drive down the field a couple times, let Brady Denneberg kick a few field goals, but I don't think it's going to be pretty, if I'm being honest.
I can't even. You can't. I can't even lie. Ashley, you
I
said
wanted to
nine
lie
points.
so bad.
You
I
going to
wanted to lie
you
so
going to the
bad, bro.
game?
I can't
Are you
even
going
lie.
to the game?
I'm not going to the game. I'll be up here anchoring in Syracuse, but I will.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just roll with her score prediction because
Yeah. A lot to a little.
Exactly.
That's like, hey, tell the people where they can find you at, Ashley. We appreciate you for coming and hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on. You guys can find me on Twitter at Ashley Wenskoski TV. Up here for CNY Central channels, it's the NBC and CBS affiliate in Syracuse. And we have a podcast as well that dives into everything Syracuse sports. It's called the Orange Zone Podcast. You can give us a like and subscribe on YouTube as well.
Did you
That's
say
what's up.
NBC? You said NBC?
Yeah, it's the local NBC and CBS affiliate up here in Syracuse.
I was with some NBC folks yesterday. They were NBC Golf though, but
Oh, cool.
that's a whole. It's a
What-
lot of y'all.
Now I'm curious. We got time before our South Carolina. He's running a little late. I'm curious. What led you into sports anchor? Like, what was like your dream as a kid? Did you always want to do this?
Yeah, so I actually went to Syracuse University, went to the Newhouse School. It was a great program. Just graduated this last May, and I interned here at CNY Central while I was a senior in college. And I was lucky enough that a job opened up here, which just was perfect for me because I grew up in a Syracuse family. My parents met at Syracuse, so I've been following Syracuse sports my whole life. And yeah, I hope down the line, I've really been loving it so far here, but down the line, I really want to cover baseball. I've been a huge Mets fan my whole life, so that's the goal. We'll see.
Nice. Good luck with those dreams and goals. Just was curious. Thanks, Ashley, for hanging out with us.
Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
42-9.
Hey, so this
That's
chat is crazy.
crazy. 42-9. I ain't never seen nobody act like that before. Yeah,
Nah, so,
Hey,
so you
What's
know
up?
what's crazy? This chat.
yeah, them boys. All right,
Hey,
we got
bro,
some.
boys
Them
leaking,
boys,
man.
bro,
them
they
boys
they have
lusty
me
as hell
stop.
in the comments,
Hey,
man. Like,
boys
them
leaking.
boys got to grow up, bro.
Sip.
Like,
Hey, they leaking. Look, hey,
pause, Kenny. That's
nah,
crazy.
they ain't no pause. That's what happened when you before you even get the action. You just
Come on,
leaking.
bro. You gotta relax, bro.
That's them. Look, they in there. Hey, I'm like this. I'm hoping she don't see these comments.
Oh my god, man. We got the wildest we got the wildest fans ever,
Look,
man.
ain't no
We got the wildest
Hey.
fans ever. Anywho, we got a little while waiting on my man Alan Cole to show up to talk some South Carolina and break down that game. But make sure y'all like, subscribe, all of that. We got a couple vlogs coming up next week. If you're gonna be heading to the Miami game, Miami versus Clemson, we got some big boy. It's big boy football season. Oh man, I'm having issues. Says he has the wrong credentials. We got big boy football season on the way. Big games this week, big games next week. But we're gonna be shooting vlogs down in Miami with Kenny. I'm not with Kenny. I got too much going on right now behind the scenes. We'll be shooting down to Miami with Ahmmon, and we're going to be in Tallahassee with Kenny for the Duke game. So if you're at either one of those games, you're tailgating, definitely check in with us. If you want to collaborate with businesses, if you have businesses in Miami or in Tallahassee, we're doing business features in these vlogs. Hit us up. I'm forgetting the vintage store name. I should have had that prepared this week, but we'll talk about it next week. Tap in with us. So what do you guys think? Let's talk the vibes, and before we talk South Carolina, what do you guys think about the whole Miami situation? If I already asked you, Ahmmon, what do you think happens, Kenny, if they lose, like program wise, perception wise? They're starting to heat up on the recruiting trail a little bit. They just got a big fish. They've been whispering about some more big fish on the way. So recruiting's starting to peak up a little bit for them while we're slow in the off season. But now that the games are getting played, they lose 2 in a row. What do you think that fits in with the fans?
No, I think they kind of know this loss is gonna come, honestly. So it's I don't think it's gonna be looked at like, oh, this is something shocking. No, I'm being honest, AR, and I'm trying to be truthful. But I do think they need one more signature win in this season to keep those recruits, those fans, and even just the players intact. Because, like I said, what happened last week was unacceptable. So I think 2 straight losses. It depends on how they lose. If they lose on bad coaching again, then that might cause up more ruckus than the players, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that one for sure. They come out and we do some bonehead call, or the offensive play calling is looking a little vanilla. I think you're gonna see a turn, right, where guys they stop believing in the vision. You know,
practice be ain't not good. You know,
exactly. Now it's like, man, now they don't trust the coaching. And there will be resentment. Guys holding back, not giving their all, and then before you know it, we'll be looking like last year. But honestly, like I said, just knowing this crew, knowing these guys, I don't think we had the same team mentally like we did last year.
You tapped in with that locker room. What they saying? What the
They're
vibes
good,
been like
man.
locally?
They're good, man. It's more so the vibes is more so like we understand we made a mistake, we didn't play well, it happened. You know,
Skid Row
let's
is what the
lock
people
let's
call
lock
it,
back
bro.
in. Let's lock back in and go. Let's go pull off an upset. Now everyone's looking at us as underdogs again. So let's jump back in and reprove ourselves. Because we did it. We didn't. People don't think we're gonna come out 4-0. Say what you want, Kenny. They had Texas A&M written as an L all off season.
I want to say
Our
underdog.
own fan base,
I want to say underdog.
was saying that we'll probably lose to them. They were already chalking that up as an L.
I definitely chalked it up as one.
So we came out. We handled business. So I look for them to do the same thing. I think.
Well, I thought that win was like somewhat impressive. You guys found a way to like diminish that win in my mind
No,
after last week. You know
I
what I'm
was,
saying? Like
I was bragging about that win every week, but now I can't even bring it up because
the whole time I was watching, I just kept hearing Kenny say catfish in that Charleston White voice. I was like, man, maybe Kenny's right.
I'm telling you, look. But it was more so the level of competition. That is hard. How does scheduling go with like
as far
with
as
the season? Like, can you schedule like, hey, I want to play like a hard team first and then
honestly,
chill?
that's a good question. I don't know. Honestly, I never really. I'm pretty sure there's some type of factor, right? All right, like we played Miami the first game of the season. I don't remember who we played, but then right after we got A&M, right? So it gives you like that little warm up to get ready, and then you play A&M. So I'm not sure who determines the actual schedule as far as like competitive, because whoever doing that, they need to stop. Whatever.
No,
I
I
can't think
know
of
it
the
because
SEC, but
we
bro,
play
they
Florida at the
play.
same time every year, and
Yeah.
at least like you guys, and it's like I don't know what ratio I would want to do as a coach. Like, would I want to play hard teams or keep alternating them? I don't know.
I would assume that TV deals and TV, like the TV, right? They probably have some type of say in it. Like you guys have to play Florida last game of the season. That's just been like a thing, I think.
Yeah, that's just tradition. That's rivalry week.
Exactly.
That'll
So
never change. Right.
same thing with like Georgia versus Florida at the same. I think it's just some of those things just set in stone no matter what. And then everything else just kind of gets fluctuated. I don't know by who, but
Bear with us, Alan. We just talking random Big Three
hey,
talk.
so I got a question for you though, bro. There's
up?
a team in the SEC, man. They play like Florida, Georgia, LSU. Bro, who is that? I can't remember the team.
Georgia, LSU. Arkansas.
Arkansas. That's
insane.
Bro, they need
Arkansas
to go
got a disrespectful slate.
They need to go.
Yeah, I'm glad they're getting beat up like that because I'm gonna need a beat up team to come to the swamp by that time. I'm gonna need a win. My slate down the stretch is super rough. But yeah, Alabama got a crazy slate. We was just talking with Syracuse. They just went through a buzzsaw as well, and they about to run into Florida State. But I think they had Clemson and Carolina back to back. Now they got Florida State, so they going through a buzzsaw as well.
That's why she said they got a bye week after us. I said, boy,
that's a prayer week.
They might check out after that and be like, hey, fuck it, like let's just go down south.
All right, let's kick it with my man Alan Cole from Rivals Gamecock website. Alan, what's up with it, man? How you feeling? You good? You're muted. Can't hear you.
I need him to come in here lying about Spencer Rattler, please.
How about now? Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear, man. What's up with it? How you feeling?
Good. How are you doing?
Man, blessed and highly favored, man. In the words of deacons at the church and whatnot, old folks down south.
He nervous.
You nervous?
I am. We're going on the road. I'm not even gonna lie. I am a little nervous. Just keep it a bean with everybody. Not on this show, but for my team. I'm personally cool. But for my program heading into South Carolina on the road, we haven't been the greatest on the road right now. So I am nervous.
Was it 1-7 under Napier away from the swamp?
Buns.
Man.
It's Buns on the road. But I do like this matchup for us.
Okay.
If there's a game for us to come out of the slump on the road, I think you guys do have the right recipe to come out of a slump on the road. Spencer Rattler is playing good football this year. Him and Mertz numbers are identical if you look at just the stats on the paper. Could come down to both of those guys play. But like, give me a little bit of your feedback of the South Carolina team. Like, how do you feel about them?
I think for the South Carolina team, it's very interesting. They're coming out of the bye right now, 2-3 going into the bye, but you look at those 3 losses: North Carolina on a neutral field, Georgia on the road, Tennessee on the road. It's just a really young team, I think, is the first thing to know. You're going to see a true freshman at left tackle, a true freshman at right guard, a true freshman is one of their 2 starting safeties. A true freshman will get some reps at corners, one of the guys they rotated. And this is just a really young football team transitioning off last year. They've gone through some growing pains. And I think if you're South Carolina, the hope is that getting 2 weeks or getting a week off, getting 2 weeks since the last game kind of helps some of those younger guys catch their breath, and you can go into the second half of the season feel a little bit better about it.
3:30 game at William Bright Stadium. What do you guys? I know you guys gonna pack it out. First game at home. You guys hate us, so it should be a very ruckus crowd. What do you think is the keys to the game for the defense to win as far as South Carolina? I know you guys have struggled. You guys do not have a very good defense. But what do you guys think you have to do to our offense? Hasn't been explosive either, but we've been, I think, somewhat persistent when you look at the numbers and consistent with what we can do. A lot of mid-range throws. The run game is very active when Trevor Etienne's healthy. We have a 1-2 punch if Montrell Johnson is back into his bag of last year. But what do you guys think you have to do defensively to get back on track and to hold this Florida offense hostage?
I think it starts with stopping the run. That's kind of been the theme for Shane Beamer throughout his tenure. They've had some ups and downs with that. I think you only have to look as far as the game last year in the Swamp. It was 374 rushing yards for Florida or whatever it was. Yeah. And I'm not saying that's going to happen again. Obviously, you don't have the rushing threat at quarterback anymore with Richardson. But I think it begins and ends with stopping the run for South Carolina. They've had some good games of that. They kept Jaquavius Marks pretty much under wraps when Mississippi State came here. They did not do a good job stopping the run at Tennessee 2 weeks ago. I think that's where the game is for South Carolina. And I wonder if Florida being down a starting center is going to help South Carolina at all, just because the strength of that defensive line is the interior as opposed to the edge. And I just wonder if that might be a little bit of a benefit for South Carolina, but also Etienne's healthy. Montrell Johnson completely tore them up last season in that game. And if you're Florida, that's going to be the game plan again, I would have to assume, is handing the ball off 30, 35 times.
Yeah, we got to be able to have one of those big games. You guys are towards the bottom of the SEC with stopping the run, and we got to be able to do something similar like that to keep, like we're away. We've just been struggling with getting any type of spark early in the game. I think one of the keys for us is going to be how we start the game. We keep it one possession the entire evening. I like our chances. I think we play better defense than you guys. The offensive numbers are similar with our quarterbacks and whatnot. I think our run game is a little bit stronger than you guys's, and I think we could play better defense. I'm questioning my pass rush. I don't want to get Spencer Rattler a lot of time. I haven't been able to get there with my front four like I want to. I do want to see Austin Armstrong dial up some pressure to keep him off the mark, because they're going to be one-dimensional. I don't think they're going to wake up and learn how to run the ball. And what's your feedback on you guys' run game, which I see is struggling as well?
Run game struggle. The run game's just been patchwork all year. They missed on a couple transfer portal targets that hurt. Obviously, the top back from last year transferred to Southern Cal. It's Marshawn Lloyd. The number 2 back from last year was a grad transfer, so he was out of eligibility. It's been patchwork right now. You're going to see mostly Mario Anderson Jr. He's a Division II transfer from Newberry College in South Carolina, who got off to a slow start, but he's an explosive runner. He had a 75-yard touchdown run against Tennessee. Not the most efficient runner, but he does have a little bit of a home run threat. And I think you hit it, though. This is going to be a passing game for South Carolina. This is still Spencer Rattler, Xavier Legette. That's the bread and butter. I think South Carolina would like to run the ball a little bit more than they have right now, but I also don't think they're going to fall into the trap of stubbornly sticking to the run when it's Rattler's game to win or lose, and it has been most of the season.
I just read that you guys schedule us for homecoming. I think that's disrespectful, Alex.
It is it's interesting because they have Vanderbilt at home this year, an FCS game at home, although that was week 2, Jacksonville State at home. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if that's did Florida? Oh, no, it was senior day last year for Florida, because I remember there was some stuff down there when South Carolina came.
That's interesting that you guys were bold enough to do that. What do you think of Beamer as a coach? Like, where's his seat? I know I think he hired an offensive coordinator, which is new, right?
Yep, new offensive coordinator this year.
What's the feedback on him as a coach? Like, what's your opinion of him?
I think Shane Beamer right now has the program in the right direction. I think it's easy to look at the 2 and 3 right now and feel like that's not where it should be. Like I said, this is an extremely young roster, definitely the youngest one he's had now in year 3. And I think he still does have a lot of kind of built up goodwill from just the way last season ended. 8-4 last year. You snapped the losing streak to Clemson. You upset a top 5 Tennessee team. I think there was a lot of momentum around this program going into this year. The recruiting class right now was filled in very well for 2024 with a couple more targets still on the board. It's easy to say it's not trending up in 2023 right now at 2 and 3, but I think big picture, the program is definitely in much better shape than coming off the end of the Will Muschamp era when he got hired almost 3 years ago now.
Well, when you look at the Florida team, defensively and offensively, like what's your read on, and what anybody scare you on either side of the ball?
I think it has to be the running backs. I know we talked a little bit already about what Florida did on the ground last year in that game, but there's a scenario here where Florida can plug and play what happened last year in that game, and it looks. I'm not saying they're going to rush for almost 400 yards again. That's kind of ridiculous, but there is a way Florida could just hand the ball off 35 times, and South Carolina can't do anything about that. I still think that has been the way to get the South Carolina team this season, and I think if Florida's going to do it, it's going to be sticking with its own running game.
Okay. We bringing in the number 16 defense that if you look at it on paper, just overall, I don't like my pass rush. Like I said, we're I think last in the SEC in sacks, and we're also struggling with turning the ball over. That's 2 things that got to change on the road. Winning turnover battle is going to be important on the road, so I got that like as keys to the game. Ahmmon, Kenny, any takes, any questions from this matchup? Like how y'all see it outside looking in?
I personally just want to see, just his opinion on Spencer Rattler, because I think, like, so you kind of touched on a little bit, the quarterback play, I think is going to come down to that ultimately. 2 SEC teams, they're going to go at it. But just your opinion on Spencer Rattler, and what do you think he has to do to get the dub, at home, against Florida and their defense?
I think the thing for Rattler is right now just taking care of the football again. Right now, he only has – last year, the interceptions were a huge problem. I think through like 11 weeks, he had more picks than touchdowns. Only 3 picks this year, and one of those was a Hail Mary with a minute to go. They were down 2 scores at Georgia. So really only 2 times he's thrown an interception this year. The decision-making has been much better. The completion percentage is better. He just looks more comfortable, I think, is my biggest take on Rattler from this year versus last year. I think that goes to new offensive coordinator Dowell Loggins. They're kind of getting more into some of the things Rattler liked. I know last year the play calling wasn't – I don't want to say it wasn't what he wanted, but it wasn't exactly worked around what he was doing well. And I think it's a comfortable Spencer Rattler right now. Having said that, he is very likely going to be down Antoine Wells Jr. again at wide receiver, and you're still kind of waiting for a number 2 receiver to step up for South Carolina. And when Xavier Legette, who I think up until Tennessee was leading the country in receiving yards this year.
We got to talk Legette.
Yeah,
I mean, he's the matchup that frightens me. We talked about who scared you at the University of Florida, but if anybody scares me on your offense, it's definitely Legette.
Yeah.
I think we have to double him and just make somebody else beat us.
That's what Tennessee did. Yep.
Right. Give me your Legette stuff, man. Like, how you guys feel about him in the offense, and what's your read on him as a total playmaker?
I think you said it exactly. A total playmaker, true number 1 receiver. He was supposed to be number 2 going into the year. You had the league's leading receiver returning in Antoine Wells. He got hurt in camp and has only played in 3 games so far this year. He's doubtful for Saturday. Legette has stepped into that role. You can see the vertical threat going down the field. He's got a little bit of a possession angle to him too. He's usually pretty sure-handed when the ball comes towards him. He's also South Carolina's kick returner. They trust him in that role. He's got the straight line speed and kind of the vision you want for that. He took kickoff back for a touchdown last season. It's an NFL wide receiver for South Carolina. And if you're Florida, I think right now, as long as South Carolina still hasn't had a number 2 receiver really step up, that is absolutely the player you're most worried about if you're Florida.
How do you think the players approaching Florida with their schedule coming into this week?
I think it's more just a reset week for everybody. They go into the bye with a loss of Tennessee. You're 2 and 3 going in. I think everybody just kind of caught their breath. They were pretty banged up going into the bye week. I don't want to say they're treating this like week 1, but they are kind of treating this like a new start. You're off a bye. You're at home. You've had 2 weeks to get right. And I do think there is, even though
perfect team to play.
Go ahead.
Perfect team to play.
Watch out.
It just might be. And I do think even though you won't hear it from coaches, you won't hear it from players in the media, there is a revenge game factor to this. Florida did embarrass this team last year, and those players remember that.
Ain't nothing they can do about it, Alan, but get embarrassed again.
It might happen. I do think if Florida starts fast, which I know you talked about, runs the ball, controls time of possession, which I know Florida's been good at this year, yeah, there's a way this could go south for South Carolina.
We got to make y'all one-dimensional, and when we do make y'all, I don't think it's going to be hard to make y'all one-dimensional. It's just if my pass rush could get home and if my secondary not making, like the errors, because I know we're going to be put into some vulnerable situation. Armstrong is going to put my defensive backs on islands, but I don't need him to do that with Leggett. And that's my whole take on the defensive side of the ball, make somebody else beat us. When you look at the numbers between Graham Mertz, I've been talking about it, but total yards, Graham Mertz at 1,474. Rattler at 1,411. Touchdowns, Graham Mertz at 9, Rattler at 7. Interceptions, Graham Mertz at 2, Rattler at 3. Very similar numbers when you look at the total offense. 27.2 games for Florida, 27 points per game for South Carolina. Total yards per game for Florida, 429. Total yards for South Carolina, 425. A lot of the numbers are very similar. You get a little gap in the passing yards per game. 256.7 for Florida. 312.2 for South Carolina. So it's going to be an interesting football game.
Look, I got something to come. I think the game going to come down to. And if y'all overcome this, I do see y'all escaping out of South Carolina with a win. Y'all penalties.
Yeah, that's big for us.
On the road.
That's big for us.
If y'all, I'm going to say don't go over 50, y'all might win. But y'all, I don't know. Y'all been averaging a lot of penalties on that road.
Yeah,
I think I actually heard the number today doing something else. Is it 19 penalties in the 2 road games this season? Does that sound right?
Hey, AR.
Something crazy. It sounds right. I haven't seen that stat, but
I didn't know that stat. I just felt it, and
I think I heard that earlier today.
And all y'all penalties come
at
sometimes off scores. Like
I think the pre-snap stuff as much as anything, too. You talk about getting behind the chains, making Florida one-dimensional. You get into 1st and 15, 1st and 20 with some pre-snap stuff, and that's how that happens.
Yeah.
A big X factor, too, I think is going to be Trey Wilson. I need him to have a coming-out game. He does a lot to our offense with spreading teams out with that jet sweep motion. He's super explosive. Our offense has been, chunk 15 yards at most, but we're just doing intermediate things and moving the sticks. I think we need some game-changing, explosive plays in our offense, and I'm going to need Trey Wilson, who I had as a coming-out party on the road versus Kentucky, but they had him as healthy, but he was a scratch. He didn't play. He's back healthy. He touched pay dirt for the first time last week versus Vandy. I expect him to get the ball 2 touches. You got to get a player. I think he's the most explosive player on our offense. Find a way to get him the ball in some jet sweep motion, some bubble screens. A lot of time when we're going deep routes and we sending players deep, we use him as the check down, and he turned those check downs into like an automatic 10 yards, just how explosive he is. I think he's going to be the X factor for our offense with making that offense get more explosive. Running game is going to be under my eye with TJ Slaughter coming in and be that center. But Kingsley just wasn't healthy. I'd rather have a healthy backup guy than what I've been seeing from Kingsley lately, so I want to see what TJ Slaughter do versus South Carolina, who defensive line hasn't been stout. Hopefully they could come out and show some chemistry. Wouldn't mind seeing Cam Waits get some reps as well. He's back healthy, played some right tackle last week. I like this is pushing the run game. But, yeah, man, it's going to come down, I think, to that for us. Being able to control the run game, control the clock, control the down and distance. And if we could get explosive with some of the guys that, that we don't have to throw downfield to get explosive, because I don't think that's going to turn on overnight. I think we have to be able to get the guys in space like Trey, let him make a play or two and do their thing. Defensive-wise, Shamar James and my man Scooby, they got to keep Spencer Rattler in the pocket. And inside that pocket, Cam Jackson and the defensive tackle need to collapse that pocket. We need to make it very uncomfortable for Spencer Rattler, and by all means necessary, because the game comes down to his arm. I don't think they're going to win it any other way. He has to play really good football for that team to win football games, so we got to be disruptive with Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And so far for South Carolina up front, it's like I said, it's a very young offensive line. You're going to see 2 out of 5 guys up there are going to be true freshmen. Against Tennessee, Rattler was running for his life all day. You saw how that game ended. I mean, the worst of it was week 1 against North Carolina. Rattler got sacked. I believe it was 10 times in that game. Maybe it was 9, but it was a lot of sacks. And there's been games where it played better. I thought that offensive line held pretty well at Georgia, even though that game got away from them in the fourth quarter. Pretty well against Mississippi State, too. They scored 37 points. I think going back to that point, too, with Rattler, I know Florida's defense has given us some explosives this year. I know Vanderbilt hit them for one last week. Is that secondary coverage bust? Is that not being in the right position? What's Florida's secondary kind of been vulnerable to this year with some of those plays?
A little bit of both, I would say. Last week, the big play that we gave up was just a missed call by the ref. But overall, I think it's been a lack of pass rush, to be honest with you. I think we need to get home a little bit faster to help our secondary out. But I don't think they've played bad football. Lack of interceptions. My safety play is getting cleaned up now. I didn't like the safety play before. I think we solid at corner. Wouldn't mind it being shuffled around a little bit, but I get why they're not going to bench Marshall. He's a veteran guy, but he hasn't been living up to the hype of his name, the 5-star billing. But he's been solid, nothing great but solid. Not playing good enough to go pro, so if he keeps up where he's at, I think he comes back. But solid play. Our other corner, you get Jalen Kimber. I'm sorry. What is Kimber's first name? Is it Jalen? Jalen Kimber. I think it's Jalen Kimber. Devin Moore, who's our other corner, who I think should be starting. And if you go past him, the true freshman, Jackson. I'm sorry, I'm having like a lot of brain farts tonight. But our true freshman Jackson has been playing great football. He gave up a big throw last week, but then when he got to the goal line, he buckled down on 2 plays back to back. So I feel really good about corner. My safety play, we're up to 2 freshmen starting. You have Jordan Castell and you have Bryce Thornton, 2 true freshmen. Jordan Castell has been the best safety on our team. I think he plays very good ball for a true freshman. He's going to end up being a true freshman All-American. Bryce Thornton has shown a lot of big playability and very good instincts when it pertains to just making football plays. Reminds me of Ahmad Black in a lot of sense. So I'm starting to see that room trend up, but definitely didn't like the beginning stages of that safety room. Some of the veteran guys like R.J. Moten that came over from Michigan haven't lived up to the transfer billing that we would have liked for a solid veteran player to come in. Kamari Wilson haven't lived up to the 5-star billing coming out of high school at IMG. So we're at the true freshmen who are shining a little bit better on that back end. But outside of that, I think the secondary is finding itself. I need my pass rush to find itself.
And that's the other thing, too. You talk about looking for guys for South Carolina that might be able to help out Spencer Rattler aside from Leggett. You got 2 tight ends, Trey Knox, Josh Simon, both transferred in this year. Simon more of a sure-handed, kind of over-the-middle threat. Knox is explosive. He got a touchdown against Mississippi State. They've both been used to block a lot.
Trey Knox.
Arkansas transfer.
He's playing tight end now? I thought he was a receiver. He's playing tight end now.
They kind of use him in both ways. That he's listed as a tight end, but they're using him and Simon right now blocking a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 7 men up front because the offensive line has struggled so much. You saw that a lot against Tennessee, but it's like you're saying, if Florida can't get home, if Florida's pass rush isn't do anything, and South Carolina feels like it can protect with 5 and maybe 5 on a running back, okay, now you get Trey Knox in the passing game, now you get Josh Simon going downfield, and that starts to create more problems for Florida secondary, especially if Leggett's being doubled.
Yeah, it's going to be very important for us to get home. You guys are at 2-3. How important is this game for the rest of your season?
Huge. I was on my own podcast today. I called it a must-win game. I'd stand by that. Next 2 weeks, going on the road to Mizzou, on the road to A&M. South Carolina's had its own struggles on the road this season. You could easily be looking at 3-5, 2-6 if they don't win this game Saturday. I absolutely think it's a must-win for South Carolina season.
I need that for Shane Beamer. You were speaking about the freshmen, how many freshmen you guys played. Right now, we're leading the country, man, in freshmen that played in every game for FBS teams. We lead the country with 11. We've played 11 true freshmen in every single game this year. Clemson follows up at second place. Clemson and LSU with 7. Texas A&M 6. Iowa State 5. You got a bunch of people at 5 like Kentucky, Tennessee, Oregon, and Baylor. But just another interesting staff with playing young guys.
It's heavy snaps. Jalen Kilgore is a safety you should know for South Carolina. He's a true freshman. He came in literally the first drive of the season. The starting safety got hurt against North Carolina. He's back now, but they're kind of using DQ Smith at nickel and Eamon Worry and Kilgore at safety. Kilgore had 15 tackles against Tennessee. True freshman, got a nose for the football. I think that's the big one. And then up front, you're going to see Tosin Babalade, a true freshman left tackle, and Trovon Ball, a true freshman right guard, who are going to be tasked with, like you say, keeping Spencer Rattler upright and keeping that pass rush for getting home.
We talked a lot about your offense and Spencer Rattler. Give me who's your playmaker and your leader on defense.
Right now, I think Debo Williams at linebacker. He's had a great season. Some of the
I don't like football players named Debo. That shit never like that. Them boys always ball players, bro. It's a Debo on my son's little league team, and he's an animal, man.
It is. It's not even the first one in South Carolina. Obviously, Debo Samuel with the legacy there a few years ago. Debo Williams, a senior linebacker. He's going to be that side-to-side, sideline-to-sideline, rangy guy. A lot of tackles, like I said, with Kilgore. Good nose for the football. And then up front, I think maybe the best performance by a Gamecock defender all year was TJ Sanders, actually against Georgia. He's a defensive tackle. I think he had 6 tackles or 3 tackles for loss and a pass breakup against Georgia. That hasn't been the week-to-week consistency, but he's an explosive defensive player in the middle there. He's going to be working on a backup center, as you say. He's capable of making things happen. So I'd say TJ Sanders up front. You're going to see Debo Williams at linebacker. And right now, the safety tandem is where you'll feel the best. You've got Nick Eamon-Worry, who was a freshman All-American last year and sophomore now, and then Jalen Kilgore next to him. I think you feel pretty good at safety if you're South Carolina.
Okay. Give me your score, Alan. You got it.
I very begrudgingly picked 24-21 South Carolina because I can't trust Florida to win a road game right now. That's just kind of what I was leaning, but I would not at all be surprised if Florida got right this week. But for now, until I see Billy Napier do it on the road, I'm going to pick South Carolina just because of that. But I think it's very close to a coin flip. It'll come down to the last possession.
Respect. Y'all boys, give me y'all score, man. I already know you haters got me losing.
It's going to be 49-0 or something.
31-21 South Carolina.
Okay.
I think Rattler going to toss that thing around. He'll have a little fun out there.
Paul,
Johnny
you.
Manziel back there, man. Let's go. I'm on the hype train, man. Turn me up.
You don't need him tossing that thing around, though. That's crazy.
Hey, yo.
I got it like 27-17.
No, you're both going double digits. That's
South Carolina.
They got me fucked up, Alan.
And again, like he mentioned, Billy Rowe,
it's horrendous. Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But
at home, at home we're a beast. We feeding off that energy. That's what I've been saying. Like every show, Kenny. Like we need.
I would definitely not pick South Carolina to win this game on the road. I was in Gainesville last year. I saw what happened there.
Hey, Alan, the folks in the vault asked, how you feel about us stealing Bell, Florida State?
It's one of those things where it kind of worked out well for both parties. I think Jaheim Bell's getting a bigger role in the offense at Florida State. South Carolina, like I was talking about, got 2 good tight ends in the portal. I think a lot of South Carolina fans are really happy to see Jaheim Bell beat Clemson again a couple of weeks ago. Jaheim Bell's really fun to watch when he's going, and I like the way Mike Norvell and that offense is used it in space.
Yeah, what do you feel about Florida State taking a lot of y'all damn recruits, man? They just be poaching y'all a little bit, bro. Like, what's the word around there with that?
I think that's just part of it. It's gonna happen. I know. Oh God, why am I blanking?
Teams got to stick together, man.
Why am I blanking on the defensive end? Gilbert Edmond, is he playing much for Florida State?
What's the name?
Gilbert Edmond.
Nah, I ain't.
Yeah, he's from South Carolina, so he's not even playing there. Okay, he was one of the defensive ends on this team last year. Yeah, I think those are kind of the main 2, and then they lost a couple players to the Pac-12, one to Oregon, one to USC. But yeah, I'm happy for Jaheim. I think this is off topic. Can Florida State win a national title? Do you think they're that good?
Nah.
I think we college football playoffs first.
Okay.
No, they ain't that good, man.
Because just as I know, this season is still a lot of.
It's wide open. Yeah.
It's wide open, but it's like
I think
which team gonna really get fully in sync, like with all 3 phases, and no team can say that right now in the nation.
Right.
And I'm counting special teams as a phase, like a big phase.
Oh yeah, I guess that's something else in this game too. South Carolina's always going to bring the special teams, the beamer ball. They hit that fake punt touchdown against Florida last year. I mean, you always got to keep an eye on that when you're playing South Carolina.
They always been good in special teams. My little homie at the time, I'm saying little homie, we the same age, Ace Sanders. Y'all
Oh yeah, while
y'all
returning.
special teams was electric, and I know we played you guys in the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta.
In 10, I think.
That man Joyner put somebody in a casket. That
was Greg Reed.
That was Greg Reed that put somebody in the casket. I remember
On
somebody
Lattimore.
Lattimore.
But
Yeah.
y'all special teams always been good. Is that like something that y'all have always like said we gonna have a good special teams if no matter what?
It stems, at least currently, as much as anything from you have a head coach who grew up in special teams, he's special teams coordinator at Virginia Tech and at Georgia. Yep, exactly. It's Frank Beamer's son. Any team with Frank Beamer's son a coach is going to be sound on special teams.
No doubt. I need my defensive line to step up this week.
That's
I think that's the key to my game on this for me. If my pass rush, Princely, do your thing, man. I need number one to step up, make some plays. If not, I feel real good about TJ Searcy behind him. I feel real good about Kebby Collins. Play the young freshman, but it's very important for us to, make Spencer Rattler smell our cologne early and often. Make that boy super nervous. Take the crowd out of the game early on the road. Keep it one possession the entire game. If it go up 2 possessions, we're cooked. We just don't have an offense. We haven't showed that we can win on the road. We also haven't shown that we can overcome, a double-digit lead. So we got to avoid those situations on the road, keep the confidence high. Don't let the game get away from us like it did early in the Kentucky game. But most importantly, get after the passer, make Spencer Rattler very uncomfortable. And that's my key to the game. I got us hitting that key. I got Princely for a couple sacks. Ruffle some feathers a little bit on that end. Shout out to my guy. But give me the score of 27-24. Good guys, orange and blue.
Going 3 points the other way. Okay.
Right. That's where we are with it. Hey, Alan, tell the people where they can find you at, man.
You can find me, Alan, ALAN, 2 underscores because the one was already taken, COLE. I cover football, men's and women's basketball, baseball, pretty much anything they play at South Carolina. If you're into women's basketball, we got Dawn Staley here getting ready for another season. I write rivalsgamecock.com, and that's my Twitter. I just gave it to you. I will be at the game Saturday. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, Alan, if the people, for my fans that are going to be in South Carolina, give them places to eat, hang out. What's the vibes out there?
Yeah, so it's homecoming weekend, so things are going to be pretty stacked up, I think, all over town. It's also State Fair weekend. If you're into that, the State Fairgrounds are across the street.
Y'all schedule everything out week. Y'all trying.
I'm not looking forward to the traffic. It's going to be a lot.
Perfect timing.
It's about to be.
Hey, Florida's coming. It's a big game.
Yeah. The State Fair, gospel concert, revival. They got a lot of stuff going on, man. Shout out to that.
But yeah, home team barbecue. It's in an area called 5 Points. There's a lot of other bars and stuff down there. That's a good spot. Village Idiot Pizza, also in 5 Points. If you want to go that route. A lot of bars in that area too. I like a place called Bar None. That's kind of my drinking spot in Columbia. But it's a college town. You go to 5 Points area, you'll get everything you need to get there. I gave you a few spots, but there's plenty more in that range.
Where you from, Alan?
I'm from Atlanta area originally. I moved here 2 years ago for this job.
I had a South Carolina question. I was just at the Clemson game.
Yeah, I've been to Clemson before.
But I noticed everybody in South Carolina love damn biscuits with everything.
Bojangles, yep.
Biscuits. It'll be fruits. They'll be like, you want it with a biscuit? You be like, what the fuck?
There is a Bojangles right next to Williams-Brice Stadium. You can walk to it.
I had Bojangles before the game. A mulberry biscuit. Bowberry biscuit.
Bowberry, yep. That's it.
Hey, I said, man, what?
A biscuit town, huh? Biscuit state. That's crazy. One time for the biscuits. Hey, Alan, we appreciate you for hanging out with us, man.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one. Bad luck this weekend. I used to tell everybody good luck on the way out. Bad luck.
I appreciate it. Take it easy.
All right, man. Real quick, y'all pound that like button. Let me ask you a question. Like, both of you guys, who would you rather face in the ACC Championship game right now, just off your thought? North Carolina or Duke?
Probably
You're muted, Ahmmon. Can't hear you.
That's why I was here talking to myself. Nah, I would say 100% Duke, man. I'd rather play Duke. North Carolina, like, we about to find out, they gonna throw the ball around, bro.
So you really telling us you scared, bro? You scared?
I'm not scared. It's just like I respect. Like they got a
scared for your team, like Silk say. You scared for your team.
It's okay to
be
scared for your team.
They got a real deal quarterback, bro.
All you do is cheer, bro.
you can't. It's just like you can't make that many mistakes versus an offense that can score at will. So it's just like I'd rather play Duke. You know what I'm saying? Any day of the week before UNC, because with our history versus them, I mean, they just got our number every time. So
92 in the chat. We got 29 likes. That's a lot of haters amongst us, man. Y'all watching us vibe. Y'all seeing us kick this game. Giving y'all the takes of the show, some giggles, some love, and y'all can't even hit the like button. That's free. We ain't asking y'all to pay admission or none of that. Just pound the free like button, dog. Like, you can't be that much of a hater. What's up?
I know what they want, man. They want a giveaway or something. So how about we start getting this thing consistently, like 100 likes. I might throw out some autographed gloves or something to somebody.
Autographed gloves. We got tickets. We can do tickets to games as well.
Man.
Like, we can get the giveaway bag.
And I know they want something, so I got some extra.
Around the golf with me. Give me 1 second. I'll do around the golf on.
Round the golf with Kenny. Come get your ass whooped if you hit the like button. We'll randomly pull people from the likes, man. But y'all pound that, man. Also, go retweet us on Twitter. All of that, bruh. If y'all fuck with the show, we trying to make it grow. We trying to kick something. I don't know what Ahmmon went to go do. He left the show 10 times on Sunday. If y'all missed Same Energy Sunday, y'all missed an absolutely beautiful, magnificent show.
I got them boys, man, right here. I'm gonna give them Warren. Use these ain't brand new.
Game one.
A little bit, man. I'm
cook some Florida State players in them damn gloves, man. Come get your son.
Come on, come go get them for the free.
Yeah, you might need to put them back in the program, like some like Mike's shoes. Hey, throw them shits back in the.
Like Mike's shoes. That's hilarious. Who you got, Shaw? Like, what you think? Carolina or Duke? Who would you rather face?
I would rather face Duke for sure.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, North Carolina. Just watching them,
they got to stick.
They hitting they ceiling right now. Like they rolling.
Yeah,
and they feeling, and you can tell they got that different confidence too. Like we belong, that we belong confidence. So
they play really good at home too. Like I'm starting to peep that when they play in front of a crowd, like they players rise to the occasions for whatever reason.
And that's the advantage too. They in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, them. Yeah. And truthfully too, I think the quarterback for Duke is a little bit banged up. You talking about Travis? That dude is banged up.
Right.
Look like Tebow back there.
I need him healthy next week, though. I'll tell you that shit.
I don't know. Hey,
I need that boy healthy for that.
I'm betting crazy on that game. Let me tell you, Kenny, I'm real cash on that.
Come to Doak and do what he do, man. Turn into football Trajan Lane into some shit.
I do not lose with watching the game with my son. I do not lose.
You better keep that boy home.
He on the vlog with it, everything.
He on the vlog? Oh,
he on
man.
The vlog
Jay gonna get to see himself in retrospect when he get older, man. Like, damn, Dad really took me out to get my ass whooped like that. That's crazy.
Come on.
Nah, man. It's an important week for us as a program, to be honest with you. I think, like he was talking about, it's a must-win for them. I think this is a must-win for Billy if you look at the schedule. This shit only get rougher. We just still got some more wins, I think, on the schedule. But from a momentum standpoint, and you just look at it, these got to be one of the ones you get if you want to get to a winning record, bowl eligibility, all of that. Super important game. You got to be able to prove that you're making progress with going on the road. If you go out there and special teams look like a shit show, and the offense sputters and you just not clicking on all cylinders and you lose this game, it just creates more doubt in the system, more noise in the system. So I think it's a super important game for Billy. And they got to figure this out on the road. On paper, you look at this South Carolina team on paper, they shouldn't beat us. So I think even with youth, there's just a lot of excuses. You just can't use any of them this game. ETN is back, even if he's not 100%. That defensive line can't stop a nosebleed. We should be able to run the ball, possess it, and then, like I said, just containing Spencer Rattler. It's really him and the Leggett show. Leggett, I don't know how you say it. Leggett, however you say it, it's pretty much down to those two. And if you're Austin Armstrong as a defensive coordinator, you can't let two guys beat you. You just can't. Will other guys maybe step up in that offense? That's what you're going to have to make them do. Like somebody else step up to make plays. But super important game for Billy. And we win. I just want to let y'all know that I'm ready to lie again. But we got to win.
Nah, yeah, I think
I know Ahmmon ready to lie. Ahmmon text me and say, bro, all I need is a win. I'm going to start back lying.
Bro, listen, I've never been this ready to lie ever in my life. I might go to church on Sunday, but I'm going to have to. I'm going to lie so much, bro, on here. Like, I'm going to have to.
Just don't go to Disney World. Don't go to Disney World because you're going to get a dream, all right?
Hey, that might be my bad luck place, bro. I
Hey,
can't.
you gotta get you a ritual for game days. Just stick with it.
Bro, there's nothing worse than having a great day and then watching your team lose at about 10:30 at night. There ain't nothing worse than that, bro. I had a
What time?
great
You guys
day.
got a night game, huh?
Yeah, it was 8. What was it? I think we played at
7:30.
7 o'clock. We started at like
I
7.
like how we all at different times. So Kenny at noon, I got the 3:30, and you at night. So we could pretty much watch all of each other's games. So that's dope. I like that.
I'm gonna be tuning in to that Spencer Rattler game. But I think Syracuse might sneak up in there with a little spark. Oh,
I just need him to make it
Chill
ugly.
out.
I just need him
yeah,
to make
first
it a
quarter
muddy
is
game.
7-0. I can lie with that. I can lie with that.
Chill
I
out,
just need him to make it muddy somehow, some way, man. If there's a will, there's a way. Is what they say. So I just need them to make it a muddy game, make it interesting. One possession going into the half, and I come on here and talk greasy about Florida
Oh
State.
man.
And how
Oh
they,
man.
slow starts. Something. Give me something to work with. Kenny just be coming on this bitch with Bobby Bowden hat on, Ray Bans and shit. Like this
Hey,
shit.
No
hey,
worries.
You gotta stop this shit, bruh.
hey, it ain't stopping. I told you college football playoffs, and we're gonna go from there.
I don't
Praying
see.
on your downfall.
I
That's
don't
all
see.
you need to know.
And I say that confidently.
You ain't that damn confident, bro.
Yeah.
I'm saying that confidently. You know,
Could your third receiver emerge this game?
I think so. I think this is, each week we got to tackle something. I think this game that we have a third emerge, whether it be Douglas or goddamn Bell. I really think it's gonna be Bell though.
I thought Bill, like, I wasn't as crazy high on him. He never scared me at South Carolina. Well, I think he can make plays. I don't think he's lacking in playmaking abilities, but he just never put fear in my heart. But I did expect more of him out of this offense in that like H-back type of role. But
Yeah,
it's a lot of ball is going to the top two guys, Johnny Wilson,
yeah.
Keon Coleman, and it's hard to say, hey, stop throwing those guys the ball. Like do you think it's not productively wise going forward, or you think it's very important that they found a third because somebody could possibly shut those two down?
I think it is it's surface level right now, but once we get later in that season, we're gonna need it even more. Um, like I said, all I needed last week was for our running attack to kind of emerge because that had me, like I told you last show, I was a little nervous because I'm witnessing 22 rush yards in Death Valley, and so once I seen that emerge, that just opens up that third guy, So it's like,
Yeah, y'all run game might go crazy because Syracuse D line is
yeah,
super undersized.
no, for sure. So I just hope that like I say, this is the game to just do it.
Yeah. All right, we'll see where we at with it, man. We reporting live on Sunday, Same Energy Sunday, and we're gonna atone for all the lies we told here today. But hey, Ahmmon, tell them people where they come move this furniture with, man. What up
Man,
with it?
listen, man. College Hump 305, man. We the best moving company in the city. Like I say, you don't even got to be a Miami Hurricane fan to me. You like Florida State, don't even matter. Just reach out, say you came from the Roll Up Network, we'll hook you up with a discount. But for moving, junk removal, we'll take care of you. We like I said, we the best, man. We got 4.9 stars, man. So
Mm,
every 5 stars out here, we're like a recruit. So
that's
you know what you
crazy
get.
on the star rating. What's that? Google?
Yeah.
Yelp?
Now don't try Yelp. On like we got like I gotta check Yelp, double check Yelp, but
Hey, I'm a Yelper. I'm a Yelper
don't
though.
get that many
You a
reviews on
Yelper?
Yelp,
You
to
be
be
doing? You
honest.
believe you one of them
Oh,
guys that
before I
leave
go,
reviews and shit,
hey,
Kenny?
not only reviews, but before I go to eat at a restaurant, I don't know.
Oh, I
I'm
gotta check the
definitely
Yelp. Yep,
I'm checking it. But I left
100%.
I left one Yelp review in my life, and that was because I ain't never seen no shit like this. Bro, they gave me a
What
piece. They
happened?
gave me a piece with all different slices.
What? No, no. Break it down. What happened?
You know how you got a piece that's nice and round.
Right.
This pizza had a medium piece, a
No,
large piece.
they patchwork you, bro. They patchwork you. That's crazy. Patchwork you
Bro,
like that. That's
so
crazy.
something told me. I said, "Man, let me check Yelp. Let me see if this is a first time situation." Man, people going ham on Yelp on this particular location. Like, Like people saying this location need to burn type shit. Like,
Oh, they give you a patchwork pizza. They give you medium slices, large slices, New York style slices.
and then
That's
try to give me
crazy.
credit and shit. I said, man, hey,
No, I
y'all,
want to come back.
y'all pissing me off right now, and I'm trying to be calm.
Oh,
with
that's
you.
hilarious. No, I never left a review in my life, but I
You
definitely
got close.
I definitely been close. I ain't gonna lie to you. I went to one in this is the wife B day like last year actually. So we went to this spot in Wellington. It had great reviews. And when I went, I was like, bro, this shit. The reviews did not live up to what I walked into. The pictures did none of that. So I came very close to leaving a review, but we left there and went down to Miami. Had an even better time. I was like, nah, we can't, babe, we can't end your B day like this. Like this is not a B day experience. Like the Yelp, it had to be some spammers. They paid people to leave these reviews because this shit is trash.
Yeah, that's how it be.
It was not a patchwork pizza though. Amon.
Now, I'm looking at our reviews. Yeah, we 4.9. I can't find them.
Oh, you looking at the
I'm
view?
looking
I'm
at.
trying to see if you got some patchwork pizza reviews.
I'm like, damn. Kenny over here talk about that. I'm like, let me go see what these people said. Or
Yeah, you gotta
man,
check
hey.
the Yelp reviews.
yeah, we
Hey,
4.9.
just know, hey,
I ain't putting the
They
roll
are-
up on
hey,
Yelp, not yet.
Hey, Jesus Christ got criticized, so shit. You gonna get a couple of them in there
Yeah, I was stuck for a second. I'm like, now.
talking
That's
crazy.
hilarious.
Now we got 4.9, man. We moving. We handling business, man.
That's good business right there. You can't complain about that. Hey, me and Amon kicking tomorrow night. We in day with it. Checking out the homie Chad Thomas. If you don't know, his rap name is Major 9. Boy makes some beautiful music. We're gonna check out the listening party, shoot some content, vibe a little bit, and then them boys is doing their vlogs next week. Y'all tune into this channel, subscribe to this channel. We keep it mixy as far as the content that we're doing, edgy, different, and we should get several Hurricane players hanging out at this party tomorrow night a little bit.
Oh Lord,
It's gonna be deep.
hey, they better get their ass focused.
K Nation.
No, I'm talking about former players. I don't think the team will be hanging out now. Them
Oh yeah,
boys
hey, Silk, ask them a couple questions. I'm gonna text you some questions to ask these boys in person.
yeah, I mean, we gotta let them get drunk first and get their real takes on Mario. I'm gonna be buying shots.
Perfect.
Yeah. We get some of them takes that my man Amon got in that suite. Mario, listen.
Hey, that was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
You
God,
gotta run the ball. The $8 million we gave you. That boy was super Miami, man. I like that kid, man.
what the hell?
Hey, we out of here. It's the roll up. It's the vibes. Like, subscribe, follow us on each and every channel. Share our content. We appreciate all the fans that hang out with us in the comments. Every show. See y'all Sunday. Same energy Sunday. If you want to join the show, hit our DMs up on Twitter with your email address to come kick it with us to talk some shit a little bit. Yeah.